Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 2 of the Halloween special episode. Enjoy! Is it really? Sarah asked you, but then looked at Mina to confirm. Oh no! Who will solve this murder mystery that is totally authentic and not staged at all first? Mina asked in an exaggeratedly optimistic voice. Oh, yeah, it's a murder mystery game. Sarah deadpanned. Told ya, you said without even looking at him. We need to find where that scream came from, Mina said loudly, holding her magnifying glass up in the air. To upstairs! Can I bring my pizza? Denki asked. Honestly, Denki, Mina said, breaking character for a second. Okay, fine. You better solve this mystery, though. Upstairs, you all filed, turning left when you got to Momo's room. The door was left ajar, and you followed the others as they walked in. Oh, this looks legit, Denki said as he looked down at a supposedly dead Momo on the floor, her body covered in fake cuts that had fake blood oozing from them. Wow, you thought as you got closer and looked down at her. She really goes all out. Any clues? Mina asked from the back of the crowd. Who could have committed this heinous crime? You stepped back and started looking around the room for anything that seemed out of place, and there, propped up against the wall, was some kind of scalpel-looking thing. You walked over and picked it up and turned it over in your hand. What is that? Sero asked when he saw what you were holding and came over for a closer look. It's some kind of cutter thing, you said. Oh, that's a cheese cutter, Tui said as she walked over. Maybe we need to go to the kitchen area? Oh, that's a good idea, Tui, Mina said brightly. Let's go! Call me Sue, Tui said in reply to Mina. And so you all filed down the stairs again and headed for the kitchen to see if there were any more clues there. As you all entered, you spotted another of your classmates, Sato, who you didn't know super well, standing there at the bench with all kinds of ingredients and cooking utensils around him. Hey, Sato, Yurika greeted him, looking down at what he was doing. What are you making? I'm making a cheesecake, he said with a smile. Aha! Denki shouted through a mouthful of pizza. It's you! You killed Momo! What? Sato said defensively. How could I have? I've been here cooking. Has anyone else come into the kitchen while you've been here? You asked him. Well, yeah, he replied. Who? You asked. Shoto, he said. He came in earlier asking for a pair of scissors. Said he needed to cut some twine off the parmesan cheese that had been aging in the shed out the back. Why is everyone so obsessed with cheese? Denki asked Kiri, who was standing beside him. Because it's amazing, Bakugo grunted from the other side, dressed as a mummy wrapped in toilet paper. That was Kiri's idea. Well, thank you, Sato. We should check the shed out the back, Hagakure suddenly said, waving her arms around so her sleeves were flailing everywhere. It was you! You did it! Denki then said suddenly. What, me? Hagakure gasped, suddenly stopping her flailing. Yes, Denki said, pointing at her. What? How? She asked. Because you're invisible, and you could get away with it, he accused her. Denki, bro, stop just accusing everyone, Kiri said. It's not very manly, and plus, she's been here the whole time. Oh, okay, my bad, Denki said sheepishly. He might just solve this before you. Sero teased you with a nudge to your arm as you all headed out the back door to the shed in question. I will personally pass away if he does, you replied. Bro is just shooting wildly hoping to hit the target. Hagakure and Sui were the first to reach the shed and poked their heads in, then announced that Shoto was not there. He's not in the shed, but some of the cheese has been taken, Ribbit, Sui said. Oh, yeah, Ojiro said as he walked into the shed and over to the cheese and then crouched down to look at the ground, his head moving awkwardly under the weight of the fake axe that looked like it had been lodged in his skull for his Halloween costume. There's crumbs on the ground. You looked down and saw the crumbs appeared to be left in a line, one that beckoned to be followed, and you turned and started following them without telling anyone what you were doing, but it became apparent very quickly, and soon the rest of the class were following you too. Sero was hot on your tail and followed you and the cheese crumbs out and around the back of the house to the pool. To your surprise, you saw Midoriya sitting in a chair near the back pool, just sitting, looking very stiff and uncomfortable. Okay, talk, you said as you stepped in front of his chair and leaned down, placing your hands on the armrests either side of his chair to block him in. He flinched and averted his eyes, seeming very nervous. Talk, you said darkly. What do you know? I don't know anything, he stammered, still not looking at you. Tokoyami, you said, looking up to address your classmate. Pass me the knife. We need to interrogate this guy. What knife? Tokoyami asked, but his question was drowned out by a terrified Midoriya who believed you would go to those lengths to get him to speak, not realizing you were bluffing. I don't know, he said frantically. But I saw Shoto walking past here not long ago with scissors and cheese, claiming he was lost and couldn't find the kitchen, he stammered. Which way did he go? You barked. That way, Midoriya replied quickly, shrinking down to the chair and pointing to the back door of the house. You hummed. Okay then, you added, pushing off the armrests of the chair and turning. Okay, follow me, you said, really only meaning for Sero to follow, but knowing the whole class would now that you'd taken charge. Who wouldn't like Momo? Denki suddenly asked out loud as you all walked. Who would want her dead? Sero looked at you. Hey, whoa, you said back sharply to him when you saw he was just looking at you. Rude. She did my makeup earlier. Wait, you were the last to see her alive, right? Yorika asked as she came up close to you. Whoa, yeah, I guess, you replied, thinking it over. What happened when you left the room? Why didn't she come too? Yorika asked again. She said she needed to get ready, that's why she didn't come. And then they must have gotten her then, you said. But it wasn't me, it's someone who's not here, possibly. You all fell silent as you walked to the back door of the house and opened it. No sooner had you opened it, you heard a noise to your left coming from a room a few paces down from the back door. What was that? Sero asked. Back you go and look, Mina suddenly said, shoving the blonde between his shoulder blades to get him to step forwards to the front of the group. Don't tell me what to do, he snapped. I was going to look anyway, damn raccoon eyes. He took a few more steps and grabbed for the handle of the door and yanked the door open, all of you looking into the room to see what was in there. Your eyes fell on Shoto, who was standing there in the middle of the room with fake blood running down his right arm. Why'd you kill Ponytail, icy hot? Bakugo shouted at the confused Shoto. You face-palmed. What? Shoto asked. You murdered her! I'll kill you! Bakugo shouted. I've been wounded, Shoto said blandly. Oh, does it hurt? Kiri asked with concern. You idiot, it's fake blood, Bakugo snapped at his redhead. Oh, Kiri replied. Sorry, bro. I forgot. No, it doesn't hurt, Shoto replied to Kiri. But I was told to say a masked person jumped out and grabbed my scissors and cheese, then attacked me and ran off. You were told? You deadpanned. God, can you get any more out of character? You wondered. Which way did they go? Bakugo snapped. Shoto lifted the hand of his good arm and pointed out the door. I'll get him! Bakugo yelled, before jumping back out the door and using a few small explosions to propel himself down the hallway, while Kiri ran after him, begging for him to be careful not to break anything. Man, this is getting chaotic, Sero said to you, as you both started running too, following the crowd down the hall and down into the basement at the end. Whoever got to the basement stairs first found a light and switched it on, and then you all filed down into the basement to see if there were any more clues there. Everyone split up, Mina called excitedly from the midst of you all. You might find clues easier that way. Oh, I found something, Ojiro suddenly called. Well, actually, it was Koda who found it. Curiously, you walked over to see what he was pointing at on the floor. Before you lay some cheese, laid out, spelling the words twinkling. You all just stared at it. What the hell? Bakugo snapped after you'd all been silent for a bit. I found the scissors! Denki suddenly yelled excitedly, holding them up in the air with a giant grin on his face. You all looked at him. You're not supposed to touch the evidence, Bakugo snapped. Dude, chill, you snapped back at him. Who loves cheese? Ojiro asked, looking at Shoji beside him. Shoji shrugged. Well, okay, let's head back to Momo's room and see if we can find more evidence there, you offered, slightly exasperated and frustrated by all these confusing clues. And so, once again, you all headed back up the stairs to the main level, and then back up the next lot of stairs to head back to Momo's room to look for more clues, with Mina grinning mischievously from the back of the group, thoroughly loving her murder mystery setup. As you walked in, everyone spread out to look in every corner of Momo's room to see if there were any more clues there. Let's be honest though, everyone was just mostly looking for cheese. Has anyone found anything? You asked as you crouched to look under Momo's bed. No, the voice of Ayama said, and you got up and turned and looked at him. When did you get here? You asked him. Whatever do you mean? He asked, striking a pose. I wasn't anywhere. You narrowed your eyes suspiciously at him. You weren't with us at all, and now you suddenly show up. You asked, where were you? It's a secret, he said with a wink and a dazzling smile. Suddenly you lunged at him and grabbed a hold of his vampire outfit, pulling his face down closer to yours so you could glare at him. "Oh my," he gasped, trying to pull away. "Stand still while I search you," you snapped at him. "If you have cheese on you, you're going to be in a world of trouble." "Cheese? But why? Why would I have the world's most yummiest food on me?" he declared. Roughly you dug your hand firstly into his left pocket and then his right, with Sero watching on mildly jealously as you roughed up another guy, but his jealousy abated when you pulled out a small handful of cheese crumbs from Ayama's right pocket. "What's this then? Huh? You cheese freak? Why'd you kill Momo?" you snapped at him. Suddenly Ayama collapsed onto his knees before you, his eyes welling with tears. "Forgive me," he wailed loudly. "I could not bear it." "Bear what?" you barked at him. "I did it. I admit it, I did it. She was too beautiful. She would have made a better vampire than me," he wailed. "Wait, you killed her because you wanted to look the best?" you asked him. "Oui," he said. "You cannot stop my twinkling." "Hey, that was what was written with the cheese," Denki suddenly said. Bakugo smacked him over the back of the head. "Yin solved the mystery!" Mina suddenly shouted, and immediately everyone started applauding. It was so sudden that even you got a fright. You were so into your interrogation. While everyone was clapping, Momo got up off the floor and smiled at you. "Thank you for solving my murder, Yin," she said sweetly. You're welcome," you said, finally letting go of Ayama's shirt, who slumped down dramatically onto the floor, well and truly into his role. "Now for more pizza!" Mina announced happily, leading the way out of the room. "It's going to be cold, though," Denki said sadly as he followed behind her. "We can heat it up in the pizza oven," Momo said, patting him on the back. "I'm actually really hungry after all that. Good work, everyone." "That was very well done," Sero congratulated you as you walked side by side. "Meh, it was kind of fun, I guess," you replied. "I got to attack Ayama." "I wish it was me, though," Sero sighed as he reached an arm out and slung it over your shoulders. "But I got to watch you solve a murder, so that's good enough, I guess." "You're so obsessed with me," you teased him. "Should I call you Cheese?" he asked. "Seems to be the theme of tonight." "Idiot," you chuckled, kicking him in the backside by flicking your leg up behind you to whack him. "Shut up and just enjoy the pizza. The rest of the night is probably going to be fun too. This class is pretty okay." And there ends the Halloween filler episodes. I hope you enjoyed them. Happy Halloween. Stay safe out there while you're trick-or-treating, and I will see you next week for more Heard You Like Me and more Shattered Image. See you then.